Aloha kako. Good morning, everyone. Mahalo for joining us today. Let's start with a pule. Michael Lowe, please.
Good morning, Vice Chair, Commissioners, all those who are present in person as well as those who are online. If we could all please bow our heads in prayer. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, we give you all praise and all glory for this beautiful day. This second day of our Hawaiian Homes Commission meetings for the month of February 2025. We humbly ask you, Lord, that you please be in our presence today for all the things that will be discussed throughout our J agenda and all issues beyond. We just thank you, Lord, for all that you've blessed us with each and every day, for the opportunity to be here, for the opportunity to have the blessings that we've had over the years. We continue to pray and ask, Lord, that you be with those who couldn't be here today, as well as of those who may be on their way. We just ask you, Lord, for safe passage. We give you all praise and glory in the name of thy Son, our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Mahalo.
Mahalo, Michael. Okay, the meeting of Hawaiian Homes Commission is called to order. The meeting is being held live and in person at Halepono'i 91-5420 Kapolei Parkway, Kapolei Oahu 96707. I am Michael Kalekini, sitting in for Chairperson Kale Watson of the Hawaiian Homes Commission. Today's date is Wednesday, February 19th, 2025, and the time is 9:44 a.m. Leah, please call the roll.
Commissioner Freitas.
Here.
Commissioner Kalepa.
Here.
Commissioner Kaneakua is excused. Commissioner Lasua.
Here.
Commissioner Marfio is excused. Commissioner Namu'o is joining us by Zoom. We see her here. Okay. Commissioner Nevis is also joining us by Zoom.
Hi.
And Chair Watson is excused. Commissioner Kalekini is acting as chair. Here.
Here.
6 members present. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Leah. So today's agenda will begin with public testimony on agendized items, and then the J agenda, which is what's on the agenda today. Do we have any public testimony? Okay, so we will do the J agenda. The commission will recess at noon. And we'll start off with Lourdes Torres.
Is she in breakfast? There's mommy? Is that her?
In the purple.
Okay.
Oh, hi, good morning. Aloha.
Morning.
Good morning, Chairman, and thank you for the opportunity to be here and express some concerns I have as it relates to the relocation plan. I am a resident at the courtyards at Waipoli, and we have been waiting for quite some time to get a list of instructions of detailing how are we going to be relocated as a result of the purchase. And if I may be allowed, please, I'd like to express some concerns that we've been having after we've been learning about the process. We initially thought it was going to be pretty simple. The Uniform Relocation Act that is going to be enacted here is pretty, hold on, it's pretty simple in that it requires that when federal funds are going to be used to purchase a property that has residents in it, that some things take place, such as finding a comparable unit and making sure that it is affordable, and if it's not, that we get some subsidies. So I would like to talk about that relocation plan and the concerns that I have as a resident, and I'm also speaking on behalf of more than 300 residents and over 60 units. We recently learned at a meeting at a council meeting on January 8th that part of the strategy here being put forward by a consulting group called Interwest is that the relocation plan is going to be including 3 critical things that are important to us. One, a place to relocate us, and we thought it was going to be on Kauai because it turns out that more than 80% of the people that responded to a questionnaire want to stay on Kauai because they work here, they're part of the workforce here. And so when we discovered that one part, that we are not necessarily going to be giving comparable units on Kauai, it made us very, very nervous, because there is a huge percentage of the tenants in Waipouli that are local workforce. And so that's causing tremendous amount of stress, not knowing if we'll be able to rely on the consultant company to provide us the units, that comparable units, the way we need it, so that we can continue working here and continue our lives here. That's one thing. And then the second thing that we were concerned about is the funds that are being allocated for this move. We understand that there's going to be, that the funds and the amount that that is being proposed is being used, the data that's being used to create that amount is statewide data. And that is making us really, really nervous, because if that's so, if that's the plan, that we're not going to be getting compensation based on the actual unit that we get or we find, that potentially could be more than what we're paying now. If we don't get that and we do a statewide market analysis, that is going to make it so that folks don't get any monies, and they're going to be risking being houseless and house insecure, because we all know that the prices on Kauai are far different and much higher than they are in Oahu and Big Island. So as we all the residents got together and were reviewing the plan, which we got 30 days, that expired on January 31st. As we broke down the plan, we got together and expressed what we're concerned about. Those 2 things so far was on everyone's top list, of what was very important to us. And then the third thing is that if we now are learning that residents do not want to move because we have dentists there, we have somebody that works in an operating room, that it would be really hard to replace, and that they can't move on another island. If that's so, then we understand that the monies that were allocated are not going to be sufficient to move so many residents. So we got together after that meeting, and after discovering that part of the strategy is to move residents off island, we got together and created a petition, which also became our comments, right? We submitted it to the Interwest consulting company that is been hired to help us with this process. And I would like to read that, please, if I may. And it was signed by 47 households and more than 50 tenants. And this is how it starts. We, the undersigned, as residents of the courtyard at Waipoli's in Kapa, Kauai, have been asked to review the draft relocation plan provided by Interwest Group on behalf of Hawaiian Homelands and provide feedback by January 31st. After reviewing the plan and listening to comments by Interwest and the Department of Hawaiian Homelands at the January 8th County Kauai meeting, we believe that the relocation plans need to be completely redone due to the following concerns. One, the assurance of the ability to stay in a comparable unit housing is found. DHL, we also discovered, the fourth thing that we discovered was that when DHHL takes possession of the property, the only people that can be living there or can be allowed to stay there are the individuals that meet the quantum blood requirements and that are on the list as a beneficiary, which, you know, it's like 30,000 and maybe 3,000 in Kauai. So we understand that that puts us in jeopardy because we're not going to be able to stay there past our lease. And so everyone that is there now, their lease is going to expire before the end of the year. And this process hasn't been taking place yet. So we're looking like less than 10 months to move almost everyone, including the people that are right now month to month, which is a huge part of the residents there. So we understand that having the assurance to be able to stay into a comparable unit is found is not going to be an easy thing, because Interwest is proposing that we take 18 months to 2 years to relocate everyone, but that's not possible because the DHHL will not be able to allow people to stay there past their lease. So we continue to say the DHHL cannot renew or extend any resident lease agreements after acquisition due to the Hawaii Homelands Commission Act requirement that any new lease must be issued to Native Hawaiian. That's one issue. And the second thing that we noted collectively was that the relocation payments should be based on Kauai rental prices. And I want to emphasize that Hawaii rental prices, not statewide, because if that happens, a lot of us are not going to get the funds that by default, you know, with the Relocation Uniform Act, we're entitled to, if indeed we don't find anything that is within the same amount of rent that we're paying now. So again, I want to repeat that because this is really important. The relocation payments should be based on Kauai rental prices and not statewide prices. Interest Group has stated that the relocation assistance payment will be determined by comparing current units to a market analysis. So this is going to be very broad, not individual. Oh, I noticed that it stopped for a moment, but I'm going to continue. So the petition continues to make mention that we want the relocation assistance program to be based on the market analysis and not much cheaper housing statewide. Okay, the fourth item that the petition makes mention to is the current relocation budget of 1.9 is much too low. After making an analysis with an expert on island, the number that we came up with was 6.8. So that's a huge difference, and it's more accurate, is a more accurate number considering the Kauai prices and the high percentage of Waipouli residents that are low income. That's another thing that the relocation plan doesn't have yet in this first draft. We don't know if later it's going to be included, but we have to understand that about half of the residents are low income. So, and most residents prefer a professional move and not a self move, because that comes with the Relocation Act. And we want to be sure that those standards, the URL, everything that act allows us to take part in, that we are given the opportunity to get that benefit. And the last thing I'm going to say on this petition is that we know, again, and I'm repeating myself, but it's important, we know that there's not enough comparable units on Kauai that meet the URA standards. And a much longer move out period is needed, but that comes in direct conflict with the DHHL mandate that they cannot, once they take possession, they cannot allow non-Hawaiians to live there, right? So moving to another island does not meet the URL standards unless, like the Interwest explained at the meeting on January 8th, people prefer to leave the island. But we learned that those people, that the 1 or 2 people that said that, felt that they had to be they were being pressured to leave. And of course, some people must say, well, I'd rather be in Oahu than, you know, at a beach in a tent. So the DHL must allow for the lease renewals or delay acquisition in a unit comparable housing, if a comparable housing couldn't be found. I would like to go further and say, if there's not enough units to put us in, I think it should be built. I think that's not an unreasonable, you know, expectation to say, hey, we live here, this is our home. We want to wait until we find a comparable unit that is the same amount of rooms, the same amount of amenities, that it has a full kitchen, that it has a safe environment, right? And everything else that the URA standards requires, right, and stipulates. If we can't find that, we want to be assured that we can stay there in that unit, or that we get relocated as a group somewhere, and that something is built for this entire group. I also don't know how much time I have, but I wanted to also add that this petition was emailed on January 31st to the Interwest group. Melissa is our coordinator, and I did not hear from her over a week later. I had to email again and say, hi, I sent you the petition and our comments, and I haven't heard back. Would you at least acknowledge that you received it on time, and that this is going to be taken in consideration when you edit the draft based on our comments? And she just sent me a one-liner saying, oh, we received it, thank you. And so the amount of stress that this is causing us, because we feel that we are discovering things that we should have known a while ago, it has been absolutely unbearable. To see my neighbor who ended up in the hospital because she has no idea where her daughter and her are going to go, to see so many people getting sick and getting so worried, because we were painted a really orderly picture at the beginning when we met with the Interwest group that assured us that they're going to wait until we find a place, and that we weren't going to be kicked out until we find a place, and we're going to be given the funds that we need based on that unit, and that we will have sufficient monies to move. Those things are not quite as we thought, and they have changed, and we discovered that on January 8th. And since we discovered these things on January 8th about relocating off island, and the funds that are going to be offered to each resident being based on a statewide analysis, is very, very troublesome, and has all of our residents coming together to want answers. And we understand we have to move, we get it, but we want to be sure that our rights are honored under the Relocation Act and all the stipulations that it has. And to this day, we haven't had those answers yet. So I'm here to say, could we please have those answers to our questions in our petition, please?
Yep. Please summarize that. Appreciate all your testimony and your points, and the main items. I hear you, and you've repeated it. Is the concerns with not being able to stay there, the concerns that the relocation is not based on comparables on Kauai. You don't want to move off of Kauai. One thing I wanted to mention is that I hear that you sent your petition to Interwest. It would be helpful to also copy DHHL to the chair.
Yes, sir. It would be my pleasure to do so. Via email?
Email is sufficient, yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for wanting to see this and acknowledging that you also should be reading it. And that just makes me feel that, yeah, that you're really concerned. And I'm so happy. I want to say thank you so much for being so kind.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful day. Aloha.
All right, take care, aloha. Next up, we have Jan Makepa. You don't see Jan? Okay, so we'll ask Jermaine Myers, and if Jan shows up later, we'll take her. Aloha, Jermaine.
Commissioner. Aloha, Commissioner Neves and Commissioner Namul online. Aloha. Aloha, commissioners in the room. My name is Jermaine Myers. I've been a Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead lessee since my uncle transferred his Nanakuli Homestead lot to me in September of 2001. On December 20th, 2022, the Department of Hawaiian Homelands posted a media release titled DHHL Community Development Program Awards 23 grants. In the release, it announced the awarding of 23 grants to 14 recipients who will each receive a portion of $8.5 million of funding as part of the development grants program of DHHL's Native Hawaiian Development Program Plan. One of the 14 recipients was a Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead Community Association. According to the release, and I quote verbatim, DHHL awarded a grant for $980,000 to the Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead Community Association, DBA, Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead Community Association, for improvements to the Nanakuli Village Center built in 2019. Funds will be used for the interior build-out of 3 units in the inline retail space to encourage local and Native Hawaiian-owned businesses to lease. This is an existing facility located on Hawaiian homelands. Please note that the Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead Community Association, moving forward, NHHCA, confirmed in their annual IRS tax filing that they did indeed receive the $980,000 grant from DHHL. Unfortunately, as of today, February 2025, the 3 units have not been built out or open for business. Signs are still posted on the windows for the empty retail unit spaces. Commissioners, the State Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs, DCCA, provided me hard copies of annual filings they received every year for 2 separate nonprofits affiliated with the Nanakuli Village Center. Annual filings since each nonprofit was established to operate in the state of Hawaii. Number 1, annual filings for the Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead Community Association, the NHHCA, the grant recipient. And number 2, annual filings of the Nanakuli Village Community Development Corporation. Cully Watson is listed on the annual filings for both of the nonprofits and on the annual IRS tax filing for NHHCA. According to the Nanakuli Village Community Development Corporation's 2022 annual filing, it listed Cully Watson as the treasurer and board of director for this nonprofit since January 1, 2014. I'll now read to you verbatim the purpose of the nonprofit written on the state annual filing. Purpose: to support and make distributions to the Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead Community Association so long as it is qualified as a tax-exempt organization under Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, 26 U.S.C., or the corresponding provision of any future United States Internal Revenue Law, Internal Revenue Code, Section 501c3. Again, according to the Nanakuli Village Community Development Corporation's 2022 annual filing, it listed Cully Watson as the treasurer and the board of director for this nonprofit since January 1st, 2014. In addition to numerous discrepancies of the NHHCA's annual IRS tax filings, I want to cite for you the following 3 egregious discrepancies. According to the NHHCA's 2017 annual tax filings, they listed the name of the secretary and board of director who was doing on average 10 hours per week for related organization work completed during the year. However, this person and longtime community member and my ohana had died. She passed away 3 years prior in 2014. According to the same NHHCA's 2017 annual tax filings, they listed the name of a different board of director who was also doing on average 10 hours per week for related organizational work completed during the year. However, this person and community member had died, passed away 2 years prior in 2015. This person was also listed in the next year's 2018 NHHCA annual tax filing with the IRS as doing on average 1 hour per week for related organization work, even though she had passed away in 2015, 3 years prior. On the 2018 NHHCA annual tax filing, Cully Watson is listed as the manager doing on average 10 hours per week for related organization work. The 2018 tax filing was signed by President Kamaki Kanahele. In the tax filing, Part 6, Section B, policies, includes a question that all nonprofits know. 11A. Has the organization provided a complete copy of this Form 990 to all members of its governing body before filing the form? Yes is marked as the answer. Yes. I humbly request for a PIG to be created to consist of the 3 Oahu Island commissioners, Commissioner Sanoi Marfel, Commissioner Pauline Namua, and Commissioner and Vice Chair of this commission, Walter Kaniakua, to work with the Attorney General's office to complete a full investigation of the 2 nonprofits, Nanakuli Hawaiian Homestead Community Association, NHHCA, and the Nanakuli Village Community Development Corporation concerning DHHL $980,000 grant, and the IRS tax filings with the egregious discrepancies I brought to your attention. The Attorney General is responsible, is kuleana for nonprofits to be in compliance with the state laws and the federal 501c3 tax code. Kia kuapu, God bless all of you.
Mahalo, Jermaine. I will pass on your request to Chair Watson.
I'm also going to forward my testimony
Please
to the
do.
governor, the lieutenant governor, and all the senators of every committee, and all the 25 senators and all 40s and all 51 representatives. I'm going to send that.
Please copy Leah so she can share with us also.
I will send it to Leah and she can send it to you guys.
Appreciate it.
Mahalo.
Mahalo. So, Kahonani. Okay, next on the agenda, Kahonani Mahoi Theoni.
Hello, commissioners online, commissioners in person. My name is Kahonani Mohoy Thone, Servicing Director with Hawaii Community Lending, also lessee of the Waimanalo community. Today, my purpose here in front of you is to talk about the Homeowners Assistance Fund Program, why the Homeowners Assistance Program will not only, alone will not address the Department of Hawaiian Homeland's delinquency rate. And we're asking for an update on the contract. To highlight why I am here, I wanted to look back at DHHL's delinquency rates and do a comparable on February of 2024 and February of 2025, and also highlight areas of concerns of the highest delinquency areas in the Pai'aina. I also wanted to comment about your loan guarantees with a primary focus on your HUD reassignment to the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. And then some of the concerns that we had working in your community about your loan guarantees on the FHA loan products. And then do a proposal. So with that said, I'm gonna look back on your February of 2024 delinquency rates. At that time, DHHL's delinquency was at 226 loans in delinquency. And this is your direct loan portfolio.
That's statewide.
That is statewide, yeah. Of that 226 loans in your direct portfolio here at the Department of Hawaiian Homelands, 130 loans was at severely delinquent, which was 180 days delinquent. If you look at that ratio, that's 14.2% of the department's direct loan was at severely delinquent or 180 days past due, which we all know 180 days past due, they tend to come in front of you during contested case hearing. During that time or that report in February of 2024, the three top areas, Archie, was Oahu. 59% of your 130 delinquent loans was, 59 loans for Oahu was in delinquency at 180%, 180 days. East Hawaii Island was 41 of the 130, and Maui was 14. Now, comparing that rate and your ratios to 2025, your delinquency portfolio is 227. There's no change, absolutely no change in your delinquency. The good news is that the amount of money in delinquency went down about $500,000. But again, the amount of homeowners still in delinquency is 227. Of that 227, 156 loans is still at 180 days past due, which means your delinquencies from last year to this year went up about 15 loans. Still, the areas of concern is Oahu sitting at 76. Back in February of last year, we were sitting at 59. East Hawaii Island, it went up 1 loan. And Maui went up from 14 last year to 21, as we said. Now, I bring that to you is because, yes, we mahalo the department's consideration to administer the HAP program with a primary focus on bringing our delinquency beneficiaries using the HAZA grant monies current. But what we're seeing is that just bringing them current may not be just the solution. So we're proposing that we partner with the Department of Hawaiian Homelands to rewrite these loans so that we can get them out of severely delinquency using the HAF contract, I mean, the HAP contract, I apologize, but also do workouts. Because we find that it's beneficial for not just the department, but also the beneficiaries. Because throwing grant monies to resolve financial hardship is not the solution. It has to be accompanied by loan workouts. With that said, I would just want to highlight that the team at Hawaii Community Lending has just successfully closed the HAF program, which was a mortgage relief program under the COVID administration. And we just closed it. We're looking to disperse one more loan, one more applicant, and happy to say that last applicant is your beneficiary. With that said, I just want to also highlight that the team at Hawaii Community Lending, including myself, come to the department with 30+ years in loss mitigation work. I personally have 5 years in lease cancellation prevention. I actually worked under Joby Masagatane's administration under HCA as a lease cancellation beneficiary advocate and foreclosure intervention counselor. So I come to you with the experience of actually rewriting loans during contested case hearing. And so we want to offer that services to the department, but while we administer the HAP, the Homeowners Assistance Program, through the NAHASA contract. Finally, this is our way, commissioners, our way to help you folks protect the trust by not only administering the HAP program, but also working intentionally with your beneficiaries to do loan workouts. So we want to offer that to you folks and the department to help you protect the trust assets and then bring down that delinquency rate. And finally, I just want to mahalo you for your time and your consideration in our HAP program. Mahalo.
Mahalo Kahonani. Any comment or questions?
Nope.
Nope. Thank you very much, Kahonani.
Madam Chair,
Yep, go ahead.
Commissioner Nevis. Hey, I heard the testimony from Nani, but I guess there should be probably more of a proposal to the department for some type of an MOU unless we don't, if I'm missing something. Is that what we're looking for, Nani?
So we have a contract, well, we have a open contract. We're waiting for the AG to sign the contract between the HHL and HCL. So we're waiting for that. And that's really to throw NAHASA grant funding to your delinquency direct loans, Commissioner Nevis. So we're waiting for that. But in accompanying that contract, we want to offer the Department of Hawaiian Homelands to rework some of your delinquency loans and do workouts with the department.
Yes,
so-
I understand. So what you're saying is that's not included in the contract at this point. You want to add something to the contract. So this would be a matter of a request so we can adjust the contract, I think is what you're asking for.
Well, we definitely want to add it, but we don't want to stall any assistance going out to community members. So if there's a way that we could keep moving on the contract.
No, I understand. I understand. But what we're saying is that you have a contract, you're waiting for a contract to be completed, but you want to offer an additional service.
Correct.
And then to offer this additional service, it needs to be in some kind of a written proposal to the department so that we could start that. One other thing I'm concerned about, Chair, is with this many delinquents at 180 days, it's been a while since we've heard a contested case. I know we'd like to resolve these before But there's quite a few loans in jeopardy that we probably need to look at. But I understand what you're trying to say, Cal Nutty, but yeah, we don't want to delay the contract that's being in process now, but you are requesting to add a service which somehow needs to be some kind of paperwork to the department saying, we'd like to offer this service. Let's follow up with that, but let's complete the contract at this point. I agree with that. It just has to be more formal.
Okay, perfect. We'll work on it.
Okay,
Thank you.
so
Thank you,
yeah,
Chair.
great points, Commissioner Nevis. So one, we'll check on the status of the memorandum of agreement. We're
Okay.
working a contract. Two, you're gonna put together a proposal.
Mhm.
And then the third part is we're gonna check in with staff to give us an update of with the delinquencies and to at least for our consideration, because Commissioner Nevis is correct. With all these delinquencies, we haven't seen a contested case and we don't want to. So we want to prevent that. So I appreciate your
Yeah.
your input and your testimony.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Will do.
Thanks, Chair.
Okay, Ivalani. Sorry. Next up, Ivalani McBrayer. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have Danielle, our treasurer, passing out just little booklet of just some factual things regarding our report today. Good morning, everybody. Inside of there, you're just gonna have a little bit, this is what we did. We printed a copy of, we met with Chair Cully maybe about 3 weeks ago in regarding the position of Cowpale Homestead regarding our engagement of wanting kapuna housing over there. And we spoke with him. He did state that, you know, they do have the RFP out to Mark Development that are for the RFP for 60 single dwelling homes. And we were able to share, Wendy and I, and our visit with him in what our position was. And I just wanted to share with you, the first pamphlet I gave you was 110 signatures. The second visit that we did, of 110 signatures, that we identified 17 of them that were waitlisters in our homestead. The second, I wasn't able to print, sorry, but I can make this next. The next printing that we got was 46 signatures that we got. 21 of this is waitlisters. And I just wanted to go ahead and share with you folks today that we feel that it's very important that the commissioners, that we want to come here to the commissioners and just state what is the Cowpale community's position in regard to the 9 acres. We know that it's moving forward. You know, kapuna housing is a priority that's in DHHL, but also I think the priority also is there's 2 federal laws, the 1921 Hawaiian Homes Commission Act and the 1959 Admissions Act that really allows the department to implement the act. And we feel that part of that 9 acre parcel is, you know, for our self-governance, our self-determination. And I just like to read what we are here today. Hello, Chair and Commissioners. We're writing respectfully to submit again our proposal regarding the development of the 9 acre within Cowpale Homestead. This proposal aims to address the critical needs within our community by incorporating community kapuna housing, community center, a park in the development plan. Kapuna housing is an essential component that will provide our kapunas with a safe, secure, and nurturing environment. Many of our kapuna face challenge in securing affordable housing within our homesteads, and including designated kapuna housing on this parcel would ensure that they remain close to their families and communities they helped build. This is an opportunity to honor and care for those who have paved the way for us. The proposed community center will serve as a vital gathering place, fostering connections and cultural enrichment for all generations. It will provide a space for educational workshops, cultural activities that will benefit both kapuna and keiki alike. This center that we are proposing will strengthen the bonds between kapuna and keiki by encouraging the sharing knowledge, traditions, and values of our heritage, Hawaiian heritage. Additionally, the inclusion of this park is crucial for the well-being and the broader community. A dedicated recreational space will offer a safe and healthy environment for children to play, while also serving as a venue for community events, culture celebrations, and social gatherings. Such a place will enhance the quality of life for all residents that promote a strong and sense of belonging. I respectfully request that the Hawaiian Homes Commission consider incorporating community kapuna housing on the building of the 9-acre parcel alongside with the community center and park. This development will fulfill a pressuring need within the Kaupea community, ensuring that our kapuna, keiki, and ohana have the resources and spaces necessary to thrive. I just would like you folks to just consider what we are asking for the Kaupea. I've been there 16 years, so it's been 16 years in the making since 2005 when all phase 3 went ahead to pick their selection. The community center and the park was in it in what we gave in our first pamphlet to you folks on the last month's meeting. And we want to continue the engagement. I'm also asking, I spoke to Commissioner Marfil, but we would like to meet with more of the commissioners and really hear what Kaupea Homestead, has been engaging with the community. No different from what Hana community is doing, how they want their development. It's the same with us in Kaupea. And we are just volunteers. We are heading the torch of what we want for our community. To me, you take that space away from us. There's no gathering place. We are in a second city of a very busy Kapolei community that we would have to share with 8 other villages. And Kapolei will be the biggest community of Native Hawaiians after Ka'ulu is built out. So each community is going to need their center or a park, or else we're going to be no gathering place to engage and continue the traditions of our culture. And so today is just to continue to approach, let you folks know that we have continually pounding the ground to get more support. And out of that support, as you can see, out of the 150 already, we got 5 homesteads. Presidents that supported us, Connie Healy, Malo Ohai, Pane Eva, Waianae Valley. We also have 2 former commissioners, Commissioner Kahikina and Patty Turua. We also have the 2 Shaw Mokapunis that recognize the importance for us to have community space and a gathering space so that we can practice the self-governance of self-determination and the economic arm for self-sustainability. So we encourage you guys to, Wendy Kaniopio Crespo, our secretary, will be reaching out to the commissioners. And just to share our mana'o, we know that the construction agreement has not signed yet. And we know that by meeting with the wait list, we have a problem with those that can't even afford the 600 to 700,000. And we seen it that maybe out of the 150 that was there, 24 of them reported to us that they're aged out, they're in kapuna status, and on the 6th income, a $4,000 mortgage is a lot to ask for someone that's only bringing in maybe 1,200 to 18 on a set income. And so out of the 30,000, we know that the demographics for kapuna housing, 62 right in our homestead, is a need that we think that it should be considered from the gathering of our community. So we look forward to meeting with each and every one commissioners to hear the mana'o of the board and community.
Mahalo, Ivalani. First thing, your presentation was very good last night at the meeting.
Thank you.
And yes, please reach out to the commissioners and provide your informational, very, very, very great plans that you have. And I can see that you have a lot of support.
Yes, we
so
do.
Thank you for all that you do. Commissioners, anyone else? Thank you so much, Ivalani.
You're welcome. Mahalo, commissioners.
Dan or Auntie Homie? Cool. Okay, we'd like to ask Kainoa Lay McDonald. Oh,
But I'm also yielding my time to Noe Asuega Stark from Pu'uhana Hawaiian Homestead Association.
okay, right. Thank you, Milani.
Sorry.
Good morning.
Commissioners, mahalo for this time. I'll make it very short. My name is Homilani Shadell for the record, and I'm here as a beneficiary. I also want to, today, I don't see one, oh, he's here. So yesterday I talked about, how I use the consent approval for consent to mortgage. But today, what I want to share with you all, because I know that when I come, I'm not always the best friend of staff in the office, but when they do good work, I also want to acknowledge that. So for this morning, because I think it's important, the DHHL staff, our staff, they work very hard. And they have so many different components, they're wearing different hats. And quite often, all they hear is what they're not doing. But I want you to know what they are doing. And although this particular issue that I'm addressing this morning took 8 years to resolve for one of our beneficiaries, it was resolved in a manner that even the lessee was very appreciative of. So I want to acknowledge the efforts of Juan and of Jeremy from HST in helping to resolve this issue between two lessees that has been going on for 8 years. And unfortunately, Juan, when he was there, had to take the brunt of the discussion, I'm going to call it, by one of the lessees. And it was concluded with a pule that Juan asked both lessees if they were willing to do, and they both said yes. And so the lessee herself called me and said, Auntie, I was so impressed with what Juan did, and I'm very happy. I feel like everything is POW. And I said, I'm happy to hear that, because that's the way things should be resolved between our lessees, that the parting is set so that they both have the opportunity to come back together again and be the good neighbors to each other that they were from the very beginning. And so that's why I'm here this month. Easy, right?
Yeah.
I'm not yelling at you guys. No, I'm sorry. And then just for clarity, as I walked into the room, I heard Eva, part of Eva's presentation to you. And I just want to acknowledge that in 2014, when Kalpea was looking for support for their park, I recalled that Malohai did do a letter in support for Kalpea's park. So I do want to confirm that. And actually, I believe last month after the Monday meeting, I went home and I found that letter and I gave a copy of that letter to Eva, that Malohai did support Kalpea's park. Mahalo.
Right, Auntie.
Hold on, just comment in general.
Welcome.
Yeah, we don't take it personally, yell at us, no problem at all.
I'm
So,
sorry?
We don't take it personal when you come up there and kind of heated with us. Hey,
I hope you
it's
don't.
all aloha and love, and kind of echo what you said, Juan, he does a great job. There's a lot of things we're working on in the Big Island with the pool kapu. We get calls from our beneficiaries. A lot of times, like you mentioned, these issues, these problems originated before we even got sworn in here. So to understand the history, what's transpired prior to the phone call coming in, and reaching out to him and staff. And yeah, you're right, a lot of times it's what you're not doing, but what a lot of people don't see here is the behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Them breaking a sweat and putting in work behind the scenes and doing a lot of work that's uncomfortable. It's not fun. It's not
No,
roses and butterflies conversations a lot of times. So I know he's over there, but I gotta give you some credit, man. When when needed and deserved. So coming, I think,
Credit
thank you a lot, brother. Appreciate
is
it.
due to staff. Again, I can't do what I do without staff. So a lot of the hard work is with the staff of Homestead Services Division. Very committed individuals, hardworking, and any credit that is thrown at me is towards them.
Yeah.
Well, mahalo, Auntie Homie, mahalo, Juan. Go get a Kaupea center built and you can build a statue of you.
Yeah. And also I wanna commend Auntie over here. She's been doing this for decades, and I would just, she does so much for the community. Thankless work, but she's also dedicated, and her kuleana is the Hawaiian community. And I applaud her for all of what she does daily. And that's not even a exaggeration. She does her work probably in her sleep too, thinking about what she's gonna do tomorrow. So mahalo, Auntie.
Mahalo.
You know,
Wow.
when you are given kuleana by your kupuna, you have no choice. So when I come before you, I have no choice. But thank you, commissioners, and I appreciate it. Mahalo.
Yeah. Noi. Okay, we'd like to ask Noi Asuega start. Online. Okay.
Okay. We can do Michael.
All right, we'd like to ask Michael Akana. You're up, please.
Aloha Commissioners, my name is Danielle Alafosio. I am actually speaking on behalf of my dad. This is for our application date.
This one.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Continue. Yep, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So we were just confused on, when I first came in last month's meeting, because we saw my dad was finally being able to be put onto the wait list. We were just wondering how long it took, right? We were assuming it was actually a year, but technically looking back at everything, we noticed like, okay, we did the contested case hearing with the hearing officer, David Ka'apu, and then we filed for exception. We went through the whole process. And when we finally were able to speak before Kali Watson and the commissioners on June 18th, to our assumption after the decision was made, we're wondering how come when we went to go do the application, we spoke with Nicole Bell and Juan about, okay, we're going to fill this out. Everything got notarized. We're just wondering how come since the decision was made, we were assuming since we presented all the information on my dad being 50% Hawaiian, and even for the possibility of taking my grandfather's place, but he passed away while on the wait list and everything. But due to it taking long on excuse me. Due to the fact that we weren't made aware until way many years after my grandfather was passed that we still couldn't take his place. So we were fine with that. We agreed that everything was set in stone, like, okay, so we were able to prove at least that my dad was 50% Hawaiian. So from June 18th, we're thinking from Kali Watson said, go over to the applications office, fill out the forms, and we'll hurry up and get you down onto the wait list since we're able to provide, you're able to provide all the evidence and we're able to give the decision that we can hurry up and put you down on the wait list. That was June 18th of 2024. So we're trying to figure out like, okay, from the words of Kali Watson, we're assuming that we're going to go into the next month's part of like the approval for the wait list. Then we get a call from Nicole saying, no, it's going to probably be about, maybe at the most 2 to 3 months. And it wasn't. So we're just wondering how come with the decision that was made by the commissioners yourself and Kali Watson, how come my dad wasn't put on much sooner? Instead of being put on till December of 2024.
Appreciate your testimony and your input there, Donnie. My recollection of this with your father, I recall our discussion at the commission meeting in June. And after the hearings officer helped with establishing the 50% blood quantum. And I recall there were two dates that we're trying to decide on using as the date for the wait list. There was
Correct.
an older one, and then there was a one in between, and my recollection is that's the date that we made the decision on, so I
Correct.
think,
And that was in, I believe, February.
right, and so whenever you get the notification about the application, that date will be there. And
Correct.
so maybe I can ask Juan to just give us a quick update, or what he might have.
Okay.
With this issue still pending because the commission's decision of June 2024, the commission's decision and order has not yet been filed. But that being said, as testified by the testifier, an application was not submitted until after that commission meeting in June. The application to be placed on the wait list was completed in June. That is the date of the application for the testifier's father, is in June
Of 2024.
of 2024. Although the commission didn't take action to approve the certification of the applicant's Native Hawaiian blood quantum until December, the application date is effective as of June 18th, 2024.
Okay,
The date of the application being submitted to the department.
all right. Thank you, Juan.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Donnie.
Commissioners.
Yeah. We were just a little confused because we thought that once we did the application, after we filed everything on June 18th, per Kali Watson, it made it sound like right after we're done, because we're able to show proof that we're 50%, my dad was 50% Hawaiian, that it was going to be it's already approved and he's going to be put onto the next month's wait list. So that's the reason why we're just a little confused, but that it took till December for the approvals for that, since it was already being put through already by the
Right.
commission.
So what we just heard from Juan Garcia is that although it was finally formalized in December, it does go back to the June date.
Okay, now I understand. Now I see what you guys are saying. I appreciate
Right.
that. Thank you.
How hard
All
is
right.
that?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. Okay, we'll take a recess. 10 minutes. If no one shows up, then we'll call it a day. One more. We missed, oh. Belay that last. We have Faith Chase. Thank you, Faith. And if we're missing anyone else out there, please just speak up.
All right.
Welcome, Faith. Good
Yeah.
morning.
Aloha, commissioners, a lot of new commissioners since I've last testified. I've come before this commission in the last 7 years about 22 times. It's always been specific to Kahiki Nui Hawaiian Homestead And that's what I'm speaking to today. A little bit of background, I'm a Hana girl. I was raised as a child in Nahiku, Lower Nahiku, and then as a teenager in Kipohulu. I was raised on a Black Angus cattle ranch. Haleakala is my church. I've always been pili to the Kaupo, Kahikinui Aquifer side. My every living day lives, if my life's entirety has been protecting that mountain. I also go to bi-weekly meetings with the Space Force and Air Force about the Haleakala fuel spill, which I'll touch on later because I think it's relevant to the Kahikinui Aquifer. Just wanted to say that during COVID, a little bit of history, I'm not a leasee, I'm not a successor. I have Hawaiian children, I do not have Hawaiian blood. During COVID, I lost my job that was tourism related. I rented a cottage in Kahikinui Hawaiian Homestead from Donna Sterling. I thought, I'm a 27-year graphic designer at the time. I thought I was gonna do artwork and write. I fooled myself. Once I got up there, I realized the hardship of that homestead. And I was baffled. And so what do you mean you don't have undeveloped roads? What do you mean you got to carry water? What do you mean you know more electricity? And so unbeknownst to me, I became an overnight grant writer. By the persuasion of Shane Sinensi, he persuaded myself and this fellow Samuel Hembeck that was a carpenter building Auntie Donna's extension to submit a Bureau of Reclamation drought relief emergency grant. And when I wrote the grant, there was no ceiling. I was like, well, what do we ask for? And so between Mr. Hambeck and Auntie Donna Sterling, let's just ask for it all. So we wrote this massive watershed management plan. Well, it was a funny conversation with the Bureau of Reclamation representative. He's like, wow, this is a really great plan. We actually can't award you this. So it was a reduced award. But what's interesting is that because we wrote that watershed management plan, it stands today as an existing watershed plan that we get to point to every time we go for new grants. So that grant specifically was able to provide two 30,000 gallon tanks, which I'm sure you've heard about at the bottom of the homestead. I think from what I learned now, the homesteaders are working to move it up. So then you have gravity. These kind of things, developments have been happening. But it was a great improvement from driving all the way to Ulupalakua with a water hose to fill up their water totes. It was pretty instrumental. So I'm glad I got that first grant because I think if I didn't get that, I would have been deflated, sort of like, you know, the grant process is really daunting, right? It's a little intimidating. So I've been a full-time grant writer since then. So since that time, it instilled confidence. I helped 4 homesteaders write micro ag grants through the state and through the Maui County Micro Ag Grant successfully. 3 farmers that aren't homesteaders. The last grant that I wrote with Mr. Samuel Hambeck was a soil remediation grant, and it's pretty exciting. It was through the USDA NRCS. And so for those of that might not know the acronyms, United States Department of Agriculture, Natural Resource Conservation Service. Quite frankly, I'm not sure. And Mr. Kalepa, being my Maui representative, you know, maybe after the fires, our application might have rose to the top for all I know, because I was still a novice grant writer, but we've got this grant to do soil remediation with rotational grazing. So what that means is I come with a breadth of understanding and experience with being a rancher, because my father did that. He revitalized the Kaupo Ranch with our, you know, with our bulls. He helped Hana Ranch significantly. So I actually have some experience at this point. I'm meeting Mr. Hambeck's intelligence in the middle now. So we're really excited. But the point, it's kind of funny. I'm speaking to the commissioners, but I think actually my testimony might be more to your Secretary Leah, because of the new homesteaders that you have on board, it is part of the requirement for community outreach. NRCS has difficulty reaching rural homesteaders, individuals. And so I have a packet, just checking my time. I have a packet of materials that is really instrumental, helpful for the homesteaders, but how do I get it into their hands with not knowing a bunch of these homesteaders? So we have a budget for some postage, but it's materials that could fit in a manila envelope. And my wish and my ask is today is that if you could be instrumental in helping me get those to those beneficiaries, as maybe some of the new homesteaders commissioners know, we've actually had some really difficulty in making full beneficiary reach at Kahikinui. I want to believe, pray that it has improved. But if you could, I'll leave the envelopes open. You can examine the materials. They're just straightforward information from NRCS, no propaganda, just, you know, those kind of instrumental tools that can help leverage those homesteaders. A lot of free services and resources. One of the instrumental part about doing the micro ag grants is if they qualify for these, they do, because you become a Kahikinui homesteader, you're automatically a rancher, whether you like it or not, because you got cows coming down from the forest, right? So it's important for those micro ag grants to help stabilize those homesteaders so they get that perimeter fencing, which does cost. And then after that, NRCS can do all that if everybody understands some of their resources, you get to do the inner fencing for different animals for free. So that's my request today. I do understand there's been some things going on recently on the homestead that have to do with maybe you're making some decisions about access and leaseholders, and I'm not sure what's going on, but I just want to remind this body, a bunch of new commissioners, like I said, that we had the attorney Emmett Lee Loy come and share testimony years back about putting restrictions on this Kuleana designated homestead, which no other homestead has this category, that you need to be very cautious in stepping into implementing any restrictions because it's called an adhesion contract and it's against the act that Prince Jonah Kalanianaho'ole Kuhio wanted for that. So I just want to remind you guys, whatever in your decision making, which I am unaware of, that, be cautious because it has litigious ramifications. So if you wouldn't mind, thank you for your time, commissioners, but I guess my testimony is for you if you'd be open to doing that. We could weigh it and then put the postage amount on it already. So yeah, I will hand deliver it. I came off to Oahu to do this specifically. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Mahalo, Faith.
Hey, can I get one of those packets?
Yes, absolutely.
And are you still communicating with Donna? And
I haven't because it's so funny because my experience at Kahikinui actually was almost like workforce development. So I'm a full-time director of fundraising and grant writer for Reuse Hawaii. I took a job on Oahu for 2 years. So that's why I'm not really sure about the details of what's going on in Kahikinui, but I still need to fulfill my obligations to NRCS as part of the grant to get that outreach materials. But so no, I mean, I've seen her sometimes when I go home, but not frequently. Yeah.
Yeah, mahalo, Faith. And yeah, please provide your. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I know. Where? Okay.
Sorry. No, it was pulled into a meeting,
Ah,
so I'm gonna take her place for a little bit.
okay. Good morning, Kanoa. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Hawaiian Homes commissioners, and thank you for giving us this time on J agenda. What I'm gonna cover is over the course of the last 2 years, Pu'uhana Hawaiian Homestead Association has been engaging with beneficiaries. The primary focus is to really help navigate beneficiaries specifically on the undivided interest lease list. That is a Maui list that is different from the wait list. And it probably has just around 180 waitlisters. And so with Pu'uhana, one of the things that Chair Isla had said was that he would be able to help bring focus to the undivided interest leases in the upcoming Pu'uhana development. And so through Auntie Kekoa Inamoto, she created Pu'uhana Hawaiian Homestead Association. Oftentimes we were told why the association before the development. I can honestly say that this Pu'uhana Hawaiian Homestead Association is a prime example of gathering and gaining community prior to the development project going in, because it's really helped to unite not only the voices, but the work that has been done prior to the development. And this association actually was invited to go to the Pu'uhana with Dowling on the groundbreaking. So that's a huge step in the right direction when it comes to homestead associations. So what I'm going to share is a list of discussion points and possibly solutions that we've come through. Pu'uhana Hawaiian Homestead Association has held approximately 6 meetings, both Homestead meetings with beneficiaries, and training sessions via Zoom. Approximately 78 of those were in attendance. About 36 or so, give or take, have come directly from the undivided interest waitlist. The focus on the training sessions were really to prepare beneficiaries on the upcoming DHHL awards process. Noe Asuega Stark is the current Pu'uhona Hawaiian Homestead Association, and she is also a new lessee out of phase 1, waiting for her home to be completed under construction. So she's helped us to lead the beneficiaries. Through these meetings, we've connected with Hawaii Community Assets, Hawaiian Lending and Investments. Dowling themselves has actually presented and provided updates along with other mortgage lenders. We've covered programs under the VA NADL, which is the VA program, and various different sessions with the waitlisters. Because the pre-qualification period deadline is March 7th for Pu'uhona. Through this, we've discovered a few things in regards to Nahasda. The focus, again, with Pu'uhona Hawaiian Homestead Association is the focus to help undivided interest lessees. They're no longer on the wait list and they sit in this kind of void. And so majority of the waitlisters, their average age is about 72 and up. The oldest I think that we've came across is about 93 years old. So think about a 30-year mortgage that they have to basically get approved for. And the minimum approval is $412,000. The maximum is $699,000. On the outside, that would be cheap, but welcome to the new prices of Hawaiian homes. So through that, we found that DHHL, the challenges are, is DHHL really focusing on the Maui undivided interest lease list? Probably yes, and then highly likely, a lot of the kupunas don't have the technology access that most younger generation have. Because the focus has been turned to, as Lehua shared yesterday, they created the Salesforce program to kind of mitigate the steps so that at least then they have technology to help with the fact that there's already a short staff. Well, we're also finding that in the Salesforce program, there's been an increasing amount of difficulty with the kupuna, as I brought up yesterday. So the best thing, one of the solutions that Pu'uhona had suggested was working with Pu'uhona's current platform to present information alongside the Homestead Association with the department to the beneficiaries, because they've really gained a long track record. Number two, what we wanted to speak to is please explain your processes in the pre-qualification of beneficiaries. The discussion with Pu'uhona outlines beneficiaries have been receiving a pre-generated ineligible letter. Maui Commissioner, you've seen that, and we sat with a beneficiary who is currently right now going through that process. Number two, does the Nahasda staff contact the beneficiary to review the application review to the income to determine its eligibility? Number three, how does Nahasda determine income eligibility of 80% EMI? So this is discussions that Pu'uhona has had. One of the solutions that they want to bring up is why can't the department outsource industry mortgage lenders? There are a few on Maui that we could suggest who are familiar with DHHL's loan program. I think that's the biggest problem, is DHHL's loan program, not many either want to move because it takes so much time and then understand its own programs and policies. Number three, a solution would be a simple meet of say 30 minutes allocated to review the application and verify income documents. That could be an option. Another discussion, I'm going to lay out two more, and then I'm open for any questions. Our beneficiaries who are deemed eligible under NAHASDA, under the 1% interest loan, do they require ineligibility when they own real estate? So now if you're looking at an age kupuna at about 72 years old, likely was on the wait list anywhere from 30 to 40 years, are they not going to own a home? I don't know if we can ask that. So one of the major issues that we came across is that kupunas are owning homes, and they are, say one of them is on the undivided interest wait list. They have received an ineligibility letter from NAHASDA because they own a home. So this particular beneficiary expressed on our homestead that she just had no engagement with the department, with NAHASDA. She uploaded, I'll just give you a quick timeline. She uploaded her documents through our help, came to the office, uploaded her documentation at 6:45 the night prior. The next morning at 8:30 a.m., an email generated with the ineligibility letter and a statement stating she was ineligible. No explanation. There was some email back and forth, but no real explanation. Come to find out, maybe this morning or yesterday, it was because she owned a home. One of the solutions that Pu'uhana is asking is, can we explain the homeowner policy to the beneficiaries or just to this commission to how to better get qualified, because this is not had been disclosed as an ineligibility component. Last would be, because Pu'uhana had saw the great need to reach out to beneficiaries, one of the things that we would like to see as not only Shaw Mokupuni, but Pu'uhana Hawaiian Homestead Association is just, let's broaden our reach. Let's bring more workshops to beneficiaries. The other workshops that NAHASDA has had, the majority was really for the bankers, lenders, and the developers. I had not seen any that had directly engaged to help beneficiaries understand how to navigate the systems and the programs. One last thing that got brought to us just this morning is we're seeing beneficiaries with these generated letters and an increasingly amount of statements that basically, I quote, I suggest reaching out to CPB as they are the lead project lender to see if they can provide you with a pre-qualification to meet the March 7th deadline. Now, on a financial side, that is what is a big no-no, and it's called steering. Now, whether DHHL is actually steering lending to go directly to CPB, I just wanted to put it out there because it's been brought by beneficiaries stating that they still have to go back to CPB to be able to work with them to get a pre-qualification letter. So that raises a lot of eyebrows. We're not bankers. We do have expertise from lenders that tell us that. And, we just want more clarity. I just wanted to thank Commissioner Archie Kalepa, because he sat in awe with beneficiaries and went through this process, and it's not easy. So as a representative of Shaw Maui Lanai Mokupuni Council, in partnership with Pu'uhana Hawaiian Homestead Association, I just wanted to put this on record. We'll be sending Leah the PDF so that there could be more, take a deeper dive. And let's start this as a conversation so that we can sit with NAHASDA, the team at NAHASDA, and really figure out what is the best path forward. So thank you.
Mahalo kaino.
I'd like
Commissioner.
to say was really, really an eye-opener to see a lot of the pitfalls in the process. You know, I really would like to see, and I think it's so confusing and people feel pressured when it comes to qualifying for a loan. And they're doing whatever they can, and sometimes they get put in a corner. And I think we gotta, through our NAHASDA program, we gotta create navigators that can walk them through and take them down the best direction or path that is gonna be beneficial to the possible lessees of these homes. We really gotta help them, because it's an area where I think, you know, we do our part here. Hawaiian Homes does its part to make sure that we're giving leases, but the problem becomes actually obtaining a home. That's where we fall short. So we got to do a better job there, I think. So.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
I think kind of some very good points you brought up. I think the thought process of getting the Homestead Association secure and going prior to development is a great idea. That way they hit the ground running. They can help mold their community prior to it being constructed. You know, as far as all the other points you made, I think they kind of fall under the overarching financial literacy umbrella. I think that the issues that they're having on Maui are prevalent across the state. Not being a beneficiary, I can't sit here and understand what you go through, waiting, then you get it. I'm assuming the emotions are high. I'm assuming you got all kind of, you know, emotions are high, for lack of better words. In a situation where that awardee is now up there in age, you're not just worried about that particular individual qualifying. You're also worried about when that individual's time is pau and they move on. How do we make sure that there's a transition for the successor to be able to move into that home or acquire that home if it's not already there, and be successful and have a conducive environment of raising their family. So it's a kind of a holistic approach. It's a multi-generational, I guess, plan or issue, for lack of better words. But I think what you're bringing up, like I said earlier, is issues across the state. I think we need to look at it and have better communication, and also put a strategic plan in place that can help. Like I just to circle back, when you finally get that call that you're ready to roll, you know, then now here comes a financial part, and you're probably losing your mind now too. How do I afford this? Then something happens to me. How do my kids afford it? So I think being coached up by people who are experts in that subject field, and provide information and provide a path or a plan that's conducive for that particular beneficiary, I think is really important. So thank you for bringing all those things to light. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I actually too wanted to share, we were going to have a couple beneficiaries come up, but you know, J agenda moves really quickly. One thing too is the fact that, you know, majority of the beneficiaries that we're working with, they're looking at succeeding this, you know. So can we ask families to have better conversations about your homestead? You know, that's what we're finding is really some of the gap. The beneficiaries have been waiting decades on the wait list, and they didn't really take the time to inform their ohana about where they were on the list. And so when they come in and they kind of meet with us, we're not just doing this financial assessment. We're starting at, do you have your, did you get a letter? Did you update your address? Have you been able to reach to, or speak to your successor about getting financially prepared? And so I think that concept is working, and just doing the final assessment, we're missing a step before that to better mentally prepare. And I remember a year ago when I started looking at this with our team, I said, are we really having to ask families to understand Kuleana all over again? But that's because we waited so long on the wait list. But we can see major wins because now families, kupunas, makua, keiki, opio, they're having conversations and they're getting involved. So the work that we can do together, I think this is just the jump off point. Commissioner Owl really helped us to elevate our understanding, elevate the commission's understanding. And that is where we lead and we keep navigating, and we need the navigator. Maui Commissioner, Kalepa, we're gonna need that navigator in that canoe to help us steer us in the right direction.
Commissioner Lasua.
Yeah, working in financial institution for 41 years, this is always the case. And I think as commissioners, we need to look at serving the underserved and unserved, I mean, Hawaiian Homes lessees already is in the hole of being in that category because of what we cannot provide. So as commissioners, I think we need to take a look at these people who fill out their applications trying to get a loan and see how we can do a better job in helping them. In other words, we should be helping them, serving the underserved and unserved. These people don't have that kind of monies that we're talking about. And this is a big problem for the Hawaiian Homestead lessees. So we as commissioners need to decide how we're going to help them in that area of making it available to them. And I mean, I sit here and I listen to you talking about this, and it really hurts me that we can't even help these people. And I think we need to do a better job at it.
Point is well taken.
I would like to add one more thing. And looking back at all of the high delinquent loans as well, I think this needs to be tied into that as part of that program that can help, the overall betterment of not only them getting a loan or owning a home, but maintaining in good standing these homes. I think this is a two-part thing that needs to be tied together.
Yep, great points. Commissioner Nevis.
Yeah, so I haven't been to any of the orientations. I know there's been a couple orientations for projects that are upcoming and so on. And I remember back in 22 when we approved the Puahana Hawaiian Homes Association, and it was an interesting process because we hadn't had a development yet. We named a development, but it was never going on. And I think it was a good idea to put together a association prior so we can start doing some of these things we need to do. We tend to build large complexes of homes. We forget about parks, we forget about kaputas, we forget about now we got Kaupea coming back saying, hey, we don't want homes, we need a park, we need a community center. Then we got people out there, so no, I need homes, so it puts us in a sort of a bind. But my concern on this conversation is NAHASDA should come out with a simple, this is what qualifies you, this is what disqualifies you, because there's a way to get around if you own a home. If we would have known that that owning a home at 72 years old is going to be a problem to carry this legacy onto your family, I would have transferred it to my son. Then after I got my home, I'd have transferred back because once I'm a lessee, I could own something else. So there are ways to get around it, but I'm just a little surprised that they're getting letters saying that you're disqualified. Then we got to go back and forth with emails saying, oh, because you own a home. Why didn't you tell me that before? We should know that. These are, and that's why I get concerned about when you talk about an orientation. I think we talked about financing and different types of financing. We'll get into the details. If we know most of our people are NAHASDA in that NAHASDA realm, then let's have hey, folks, if you're at this level and you're at this age, you might want to talk with the NAHASDA on detail. So we get some more detail. That's really important. And then, you know, we got to be concerned because I'm concerned about using the HOSDA monies for large projects. And then we run out of money where the need is. We build these large projects. They say, okay, let's do LIHTC. Well, LIHTC, yeah, okay, let's do LIHTC. How's that going to work? The NAHASDA money should be used for the folks that, as Commissioner Lasua says, are people in need, the people that we need to really work with to help. It's not their fault that we're in this situation. It's our fault as a commission and the funding, because we haven't funded it properly. Now we're in a rut. So what do we fall in? NAHASDA. NAHASDA is what, if we could leverage LAHASA properly, we could take care of those folks and build this thing. Once we, and when the chair was mentioning Lester yesterday, and I don't want to get too lengthy, we're talking about doing the manufactured homes. That's going to be a big program. If we get that manufactured homes down, we could get a lot of folks. We at 70, even at 72 years old, depending on their type of retirement, they could buy those homes. So it just, we need more information. If we're having problems with Salesforce, that's why yesterday, kind of when you asked me if I went on the HOSA site, I was going, why would I want to go on the HOSA site? You know, I don't need to go on the HOSA site. And I haven't heard anything from my beneficiaries about those issues as well, but they're very important. I think we ought to work quickly with the HOSA and say, look, Puanuas has a program. We need to tie you in because now we're on a time frame. We got so much time to get qualified. Now you're going to send me to someone to get a pre-qual letter? Where did that come from? You can't push somebody towards a certain person for a pre-qual letter. So just a little concern going forward. You know, we have a lot of awards coming out. We have a lot of this stuff going on. Undivided interest is important. I had undivided interest for 5 years before I moved to Kauai. When I got here, I didn't even know what it was because nobody ever explained it. I gave it away because I found a house on Craigslist. That's where I live now, Hawaiian Homes. But it's just, we just need to get better communication to those folks, especially the ones that have been on this wait list for a long time and undivided interest, because, you know, they never had that conversation. Oh, don't worry, I'm undivided interest in case something comes up, I'm good. But now I'm 72 years old and I don't know if I can handle the thing. And oh yeah, and I own property because in 72 years, I got to own something because I've been waiting. So anyway, that's my monologue. We just need to coordinate better, get better information out there. So if there's any way we can talk to NAHASA, especially in this Puanua situation, to provide better, a quick snapshot. This is what qualifies, this what don't. At least I have something I can work with and know where I go from there. Thanks, Chair.
Yeah, appreciate it, Commissioner Neves. Commissioner Namuo, we don't want to leave you out. Thank you.
Can I make one last statement? Thank you so much, commissioners, for all the decisions that you're gonna make, you will make, and the considerations. But we're in this process right now. Pu'uhana actually has a handful of Kalima case. So they have Kalima case money, upwards of about 210,000 in the bank. And we're teaching them slowly how to utilize that money to leverage getting into the mortgage. And so this is a great concern because it's going to happen on Oahu with Oahu's wait list. And I think we would happily share some of our concerns. We're meeting with NAHASA later on today, just to reshape the way that the program is, because I know that they're going to need some help, but I think we really need to look at the kupuanas who have received the Kalima case money, because the Kalima case money is going to be a big challenge. We don't want them spending it all in one place just to get their homestead during the mortgage process.
Appreciate that.
And just another comment, kind of, I'd be very, very cautious on advising people on how to use their Kalima case money. I think I would direct them towards a financial advisor or an attorney, because I've worked with some folks here getting attorneys, building trusts and so on and so forth. we don't want to steer them in a direction, all of a sudden come back and, hey, look what I did. Now I'm broke or whatever. That's a financial decision within the family, and I sort of stay away from that.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea, but yes, they do have some revenue, but what are they going to do for themselves after, they get this home, and then now they say, okay, I'm going to give it to my kid. Now, where am I going to go? How am I going to take care of myself? So those financial decisions I leave with their financial advisor.
Yeah, I mean, for clarity on this one is because the beneficiary actually brought it up.
Oh, yeah.
And in her pre-qualification, she was asked to spend about 123,000 of her Kalima money for the down payment. $123,000 out of her Kalima money. So that was, for clarification, that was the reason why,
Okay.
our mortgage lender stepped in and gave her other avenues to advise her on.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Kainoa, for bringing all of this to the commission. As you can tell, there's very unanimous concerns with this. So I will follow up with Chair and with the commission and see what we can do to put together some help.
Thank you. And then for the record, I'm going to enter this document and then the 2021 NAHASDA policies,
Yeah,
so that
please.
all of you can have copies of it.
Yes,
Review.
please send it to Leah and then we'll get it. Thank you, Kainoa. Okay, we have one public testifier. Thank you. What's her name?
Oh, good morning. This is
Sean.
Sean Allison. Hi, good morning. I just wanted to touch bases a little bit on I see the housing issues and I see the people that struggle with that stuff. I mean, I go on the meetings with Kainoa and those guys, but it's repetitious, with a lot of our people, and sometimes it can be, a headache, but you just gotta keep moving forward. And all of you do, you guys are better at it. Much better at it. But it's like I brought up before. We struggle with this, but the program should have where you're gonna buy, it's like Nanakuli. When they did Nanakuli's program, they put up houses from First Road to Sixth Road, and they put them up for 12,500. On the low end, the house was probably 10,000, and then mortgage payments were $249. And even then, some people struggle because it's life that steps in a way, so, and we can't teach that. We have to kind of take the steps and earn it, right? But those programs you guys spent good money on, and it fixed a lot of problems faster. We're going about it, the longer route. Instead of going from A to B, we're going A, B, C just to get to D. I get it, but it's like we've taken 4 steps instead of doing 2 steps. And it's more time consuming and less time management. And we took a tour yesterday, just looking at some of the other sites, visited the other sites, hiking. And you're going to be addressing liability issues. You're going to be addressing security issues, because we got people on our lands that we don't even live on that are trashing the places. The ag land down in Pulehunui. I mean, that one, we took a bunch of pictures for that. And, just from the road itself, you can see derelict cars. And that money is going to come out of money that is supposed to be for us to build our homes, to go forward with stuff. And it's like the department, you guys are doing great, but can we be greater? You know what I'm saying? And yes, we can, because we're in that generational period where we're the ones now, without us, the kids ain't gonna learn. So what I'm saying is that you guys are doing a great job, but we can do better every day. So the homeowners associations, they work good together, but how do we get our people in? And it's through their kids, it's through the children. So we shouldn't only offer for them, but we should offer the classes to their generations and grandkids, you know, financial classes for them too. They should be able to walk in those classes with their grandparents, their parents, because it'll help them. It helps us to close that gap. And I don't think I've seen that yet, because not too many of them are welcoming in those seniors, those junior kids that are going to graduate that could potentially be those leasees. So I just wanted to bring my mana'o to that, because I don't see that yet in any of our meetings. Thank you.
Mahalo, Sean. Next up, we have Robin Keli'i Nohomoku. Aloha, Robin.
Aloha, hi, thank you. I just sent Michael Lowe a copy of my PowerPoint. Is there a possibility of screen? Sorry, Michael. You guys are moving pretty quick this morning. So sorry for my lateness. Mahalo. I just wanted to also ask Shauna, Sister Shauna, who was just speaking. She and I are both presenting on this today. So aloha, my name is Robin Keli'i Nohomoku, and I'm the president of the Pulehunui Hawaiian Homestead Association, incorporated back in December of 2024. And our mission is to educate, empower through farming and economic activities, and helping to foster our Native Hawaiian sovereignty in a culturally appropriate, community-based way. Next. So on January 25th, last month, we held our first meeting with the Pulehunui Hawaiian Homestead Association, and we had approximately 14 people attend, and it was a really nice gathering at the Pulehunui 600, right at the 646 acres. And I wanted to show a little bit of what we did and some of the things that we were able to cover. Like any young organization that's starting off. Next. So based on all of us who were there, we also had a light lunch, but we also put together some working groups for the ad hoc committee for social media, grant writing, establishing our bylaws, our historian ad hoc committee, our government affairs ad hoc committee, and logistics. So these were some of the people that attended, many, except for one that was not a beneficiary. These are all active, very participating beneficiaries that are looking forward to the development of agriculture on the 646 acres in Central Maui. Next. And this is a quick view of the land. As you can see, it's prime agricultural land. It is in the central Maui, located in central Maui, overlooking or on each side flanked by both Haleakala and the West Maui Mountains. But you can see the vast amount of land in that area, and we're hoping to be able to move forward with our development of this agricultural, light industrial community. Next. I'm going to turn this portion of the presentation over to Shauna, Sister Shauna, and she will move forward on the rest of the slides. There's only like 5 more slides, and then we'll be done. Sister Shauna, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Robin.
All right, next.
So these are pictures that we took over there. You can see there's, you know, trash, fire, cars that are abandoned all across that property. I think there was a total of 24 abandoned cars. And there's a total of 14 old shelters that are there. And some of the pictures you see are the shelters that are there. How much trash is dumped there. So me and Robin took a look at what, you know, all of the areas and the shelters, the amount of tires, there's like propane tanks. That is, you know, that area can also be, you know, a fire hazard. And then the liability for us, you know, we're trying to like you know, like minimize that kind of things for the department and for ourselves as homeowners, you know, and start at the ground up. But you can see more than that. We took a lot of pictures of out there, but the potential to reuse some of the buildings are there, you know. The structures there for agriculture use is phenomenal. You know, you can do a lot of things, but we are here to do the right the ROE. We would like to get it started because in 3 years, I mean, we could have plants as high as 6-7 feet. You know, citrus, ulu. It'll help to bring the precipitation back into the ground and in the area of what you guys are planning. And then, I mean, it's a lot. I mean, Robin can take the rest, and then I'll help you sis with the rest of it.
Thank you. So in the particular slide, as Sister Shauna just mentioned, you can see a lot of the debris that has been brought to that community because of the unsheltered. And there's a receipt there because I wanted to know, you know, is this new stuff? Is this like stuff from way back when that are there? No. That receipt you see there is from February 14th. And this is not the only evidence of very recent activity going on in that area. Next. These are just some of the abandoned vehicles that that we took pictures of yesterday. And as you can see, there's a lot of vehicles, a lot of stuff, a lot of flammable, hazardous stuff that are on the property. Beautiful, yes, as we saw earlier, but this is the reality of some of the rubbish and abandoned vehicles that you're seeing on property. Next. And earlier, Sister Shauna talked about the fire hazards of that particular area. There are lots of different places with open fires. You can see in the top left side of this slide, the logs. They're burning trees on that property. There's gas tanks, as you can see. So in some of these bunkers, what they've done is they've set a little home in there, and they have propane tanks all over the property, and inside the bunkers too, or you know, their grills, whatever their cooking stuff that they're using, their lights, and those are all inside of the bunkers. There's also debris that it's a dump yard, so people are dumping tiles, tires, drywall, construction debris. There's all kinds of different rubbish that's there because it's, you know, there's no security. There's open roads that lead right onto the property. and no one's there to manage that. And as you can see, there's just, debris everywhere, fire, charcoal and stuff everywhere. I think in the 2 previous slides I've shown, I mean, there are actually, beds. So, people are definitely, making a home. They have their beds, they have chairs, they have tables, dining room tables and shelving and all that stuff. Next. So, as for the Homestead Association, we're looking at ways that we can partner with the department to mitigate the liabilities that come with this area. And one is the agroforestry is getting in there and starting to plant and put plants onto or grow plants onto that property. And that would be the best thing. That way we're present on the property. We're helping to mitigate the erosion that's happening because it's wide open, and flooding is another challenge that we have on that, and especially with our big storms that come down from Haleakala, there is a lot of stormwater damage coming from the uplands of Maui. Also, as you saw earlier, there's a lot of potential for fire. It's all brush. Like right now, you're seeing it green because it's winter. We've had huge rain, but we know that in a couple of weeks or months, it's going to start to get drier and drier. And then, of course, water management. In order for us to have an agroforestry, also will need help with water, and we welcome ensuring that we get that the water that has been promised to the Hawaiian homes from Seaworm to help to provide water down in that area, in addition to possible catchments and reservoirs in Punawai. There is a Punawai on that property, and awais that existed from the plantation era. So there's a lot of potential for mitigating potential liabilities if we can get the water piece figured out. Next, and I think we're done. Yes, mahalo. And I will close with Heli Ika'aina, He Kawa Ke Kanaka. Land is chief and we are its servants. And I think what we are presenting is exactly what this is being good stewards of the land that we have here in our paina. Mahalo everyone for paying attention and being here and allowing me to speak today.
Mahalo, Robin, and commissioners.
Chair, I have a question.
Go ahead, Commissioner Levis.
Robin, is your organization looking at doing a right of entry for that area at this point?
Yes, we have already submitted a request and we're waiting for a response.
Okay, I just to give you some heads up, we did that here in Kauai. We have about 500 acres in the Makai side of the road out here in Anahola, and we had over 400 cars, bunch of drug dealers. I mean, it was twice as bad as what you're seeing. But my concern is as we move forward is now people starting to dump hazardous waste there, which could be a problem. But I would totally support that. We started out as a stewardship, just got a group together and said, okay, we're going to go clean the property up. We got the community involved. We got some funding from Hawaiian Homes. Now Aina Alliance has taken that over and just received a grant over $500,000 to provide some of the services they need out there. But it's about Hawaiians taking over our land to make sure we protect it for the future. So I would totally support that, and I'd love to see your request sent into the commission so we can consider.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Neves. I appreciate it. I would love to connect with you and get more information on how you folks proceeded with your 500 acre in Anahola.
Sure, that's fine. Kaino's got my contact information. Give me a call.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair.
Yep, mahalo, Commissioner Nevis. And mahalo to everyone in attendance online and in presence. Right now, Couple- Oh, go ahead.
Hi,
Commissioner.
Robin. I have a question. When did you guys submit the ROE? I just want to know, like, how is it moving?
There was an initial request sent in by Anake Kikoa Inamoto. I believe it was done in the beginning of January or end of December.
Mhm. Okay, and that was submitted to the department.
Yes,
Okay. Okay, awesome.
thank you.
So,
I'd like to stay abreast of what's happening with you guys. So anything I can do to stay informed, please let me know.
I will. We do actually have a meeting coming up this weekend. I'll send you the flyer for that. It's this.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, thank you.
mahalo, Commissioner Kalepa. So we could also follow up with LMD to see where that's at. Okay, last call for J agenda. Robin, Kili'ino Homoku. We did Robin, huh?
That was Robin.
Sorry. Kikoa Inamoto. Guy Gaspar. Okay, a couple announcements. So the commission is conducting 2 public hearings next week on the proposed land disposition of Hawaiian homelands for a renewable energy project located in Panaeva, Hawaii Island. Public hearing number 1 will be Tuesday, February 25, 6 p.m., Keaukaha Elementary School Cafeteria, 240 Deshaw Avenue, Hilo, Hawaii 96720. And public hearing number 2 will be the following day on Wednesday, February 26 at 8:30 a.m. Grand Nanilua Hotel, Sandal Room, 93 Banyan Drive, Hilo, Hawaii 96720. In addition, there is a rally March 25th at the state capitol. This is to support DHHL's initiative for $600 million. It starts at 9 a.m. with sign waving and 11 a.m. press conference. So we have come to the end of our agenda. Mahalo for participating. Next month's regular meeting is scheduled for March 17 and 18, 2025 at Hale Kuhio in Waimea, Hawaii Island, starting at 9:30 a.m. Next month's community meeting will be in Kauai High at the Kailapa Community Center. We look forward to seeing you all again soon. Meeting adjourned.
Mahalo, Chair. Good job.
Guys.
Hello, everyone.
Aloha, Dennis.